been playing a lot of games recently, and even a few demos of games that have either caught my eye or recommended to me. Aeon Dream Studios' visual novel Mystic Destinies, Serendipity of Aeons, is one of them. It came out in 2016, and for some reason I never thought to try out the free demo until now. It includes the prologue and the first 3 root chapters for each of the 5 characters that you can choose to pursue. In Mystic Destinies, you play as a girl, whom you name, who has returned to her native Japan with her family from the UK to pursue business at a mysterious and history-laden university called Hagiwara. She becomes cursed with immortality and sorcery, the latter proving difficult to control. You must then select a mentor at the school who can help you master your abilities. I'll do my best not to spoil too much of the story here, although I frankly don't know much either, seeing as I haven't played the full game. What I will say, however, is that there are a few elements about it that I felt are far superior to others, hence rendering the overall experience okay. I think part of it has to do with the setup. We've seen the whole magician's apprentice type of story a million times before. And while reading about the mythology behind creatures is always interesting, nothing here really stands out. It's kind of like Hercules and Phil, except your character is somewhat passive, except in Tatsuya's route, she's admiringly proactive at times. The majority of your conversations consist of the guy you're with constantly asking you about your well-being. To be fair, it makes sense given what your character goes through in the beginning, but I'd like some more development between them. Speaking of which, none of the potential love interests you can pursue are particularly captivating, despite all the mystery they are shrouded in. All except for one, and he's the one guy I thought I would absolutely hate. His name, as far as you know, is Shinji, and he managed to surprise and impress me the most out of all of them. I thought he was going to be your classic tsundere. Instead, Tatsuya is slightly like that. But he ends up being the friendliest of the bunch in spite of his seemingly initial apathetic, lazy, and aloof demeanor. He's a rocker, which I thought would boost his ego, but he in no way elevates himself despite being the most well-rounded sorcerer of them all. After the Professor Hikaru, probably. He's got a great sense of humor and is always going out of his way to accommodate you. This is why you don't judge people with crazy hair. Something else I rather like is the exchange between your character and her CEO father in Tatsuya's route. There's a point where he advises her on wining and dining with potential clients when coming to business decisions. He even tasks her with researching a recent market proposal presented to him by this one guy who's smitten with the MC, and coming up with the best decision based on the circumstances. Honestly, I wish the VM was based on this instead. I like the idea of MC learning to become a good business lady, and getting into interesting relationships along the way. I've always been a fan of parent-child narratives, and this is a pretty fresh spin on it. There's another character I'm quite grateful for, and she's a friend the MC makes named Emmy. I was starting to think the MC was a recluse until she came along. She's lovely and artsy, and it's the few characters like her and the father that make me glad this VN isn't just focusing on your character and the love interest. For the most part, the art is wonderful. It's real, actually. Nearly all the characters look like models. The MC is easily one of the most gorgeous women video game characters I've ever seen. I'm not always crazy about the sprites, but the CGs are nothing short of fantastic. The music is flawless, with each track perfectly complementing the scene it is featured in. The moods range from relaxing to tense and even cosmic. The only real thing that bothers me concerning the dialogue is the poor grammar, syntax, and punctuation in places. On the surface, this VN is mostly reminiscent of every teen fantasy novel out there. I'm not sure if I'll buy the routes, aside from maybe Shinji's. To you, I say give the demo a go first, to see if this is a story that will engage you before buying the rest of the routes.